superstitious, but I am a little stitious. Never too early for an Office reference. Ken Hitchcock hangs him up, calls it a career. Philip Forsberg is ridiculous. Lady Liberty looks amazing in Vegas. And the Caps blow it at home in Game 1. Plus, we preview tonight's action in the playoffs. This is the Hockey Talk Show. Welcome in. Hockey Talk Show live with you here on this Friday, April 13th. On the podcast, rate and review. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Aaron says he's seen it coming. What'd you see coming? Lady Liberty or the Caps? I'm angry with the Caps. I am angry with the Caps. I picked them in this series. I knew it was going to be close, but I thought they would be able to pull it out. And the Caps of old showed up in the playoff matchup last night. I hate to use the old cliche, but they took their foot off the gas. Lee on Facebook, stunned the Leafs looked so bad last night. I was surprised it was a 5-1 game as well. I was pretty surprised. Although I believe, and we'd have to go back and watch the tape, and if anybody cares to do that, go ahead, because I'm definitely not checking tape. I believe I did say I thought Boston had a really good shot at Game 1. It just felt like something that would happen. Look, when you think a series is going to go 6, this could obviously happen to you. I'm surprised it was a 5-1 game, but at the end of it, I'm not all that surprised because it's a young team and it's going to take them a game or two, I feel, to get into the groove and start to, kind of get their legs underneath them. Now, Kadri is going to be, it looks like he's going to get a suspension here. How many games? We don't know. But, what we learned from the games last night, you got to have your head about you, man. You've just got to. You look at the Blue Jackets Washington game, Anderson takes that 5-minute penalty. The Caps put 2 in, and then I think it was Wilson who took a penalty, and then the Columbus Blue Jackets wind up tying it 3-3. So honestly, like power play, it's just, it's fundamentals, guys. At this time of the year, it's fundamentals. Do not take bad penalties. And we saw a bunch of bad, costly penalties in these first couple of games so far. And it's changed the momentum of some of the games that we're seeing here. Blue Jackets are good. They sure are. Refs will call cheap shots. Refs are trying to set a standard for the playoffs. Just like in the beginning of the season, first couple of games of the first round, they really like to, set a standard and try and keep everybody together. And then as the rounds go on, I think they kind of lay off a little bit more and more and more as we go. But right now, and they're not making bad calls, I don't think. They're calling a lot. They're making calls. They've decided that they're going to use those little whistles around their, well, actually now they're all around their fingers. But they're blowing the whistle. They're making calls, and you got to respect that. And I have no problem with it. In the first game of the series, like set a tone, set a pace. I am completely fine with that. That's what most good referees would do. But the players got to be a little bit smarter than that. Have to be. Kadri's got to be better. Doughty's penalty was uncalled for. Again, Wilson with the Caps, just stupid. You can't take a charging call in a playoff game. You got to just be smarter than that. And they really weren't. So some dumb penalties and some badly timed penalties. They always say, take a good penalty. Take a good penalty. Those weren't really good penalties last night or the night before in the playoffs. So going into tonight's game, Vegas and Los Angeles, they'll be without Drew Doughty, the Los Angeles Kings. And let's see how that changes the makeup of their team, because Doughty I don't have the stats in front of me, but Doughty played a hell of a lot of time in game one. He's obviously their 1A, number one defenseman, I should say. And this is going to be a problem for them, especially with the speed of the Vegas Golden Knights forwards. Speaking of the Vegas Golden Knights, I thought this was really, really classy. Again, Vegas just continues to win for off-ice maneuvers and playoff, things. Just kind of the way that, Nashville kind of won everybody over and stole all of our hearts with their enthusiasm and some of the celebrations and things that they were doing in the playoffs last year. Vegas has sort of taken that spot. And look what they did to Lady Liberty just outside of the New York Hotel, draping the big Vegas Golden Knights jersey on her. You can see the guys in the crew, is the guys in the bucket right here, putting it all together, getting the jersey on her. They were going to do this before game one, but I think wind didn't enable them to actually get up there and make it happen. But they got it up there before game two. So Lady Liberty, I think that we should do this in New York, is seeing that both the Islanders and the Rangers are out. The least we could do as New Yorkers is drape the real Statue of Liberty in the Vegas Golden Knights jerseys. I just think that would be the classy thing to do. I'm looking right at you, Governor Cuomo. And also, I was about to say Mayor Bloomberg, but he's not the guy. Who's the other guy that everybody hates? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. New York's not going to show the class that we really should. John, new GM Hitchcock, now new Isles GM. Not happening. Wish it would. Would love to have that brain in an Islanders office, but Hitch is going to stay on as a special consultant. Eddie, what's up, my man? Kadri has to go to the principal's office. What's your sleeper team? I don't really know if I have a sleeper team. I honestly think there's only two teams that are 2 to 3 teams, Colorado, Jersey, and Anaheim, that I don't think could actually win a round. So if you want me to pick one of them, out of those teams, who do I think could go? Jersey. But I don't think they would. I don't think they're doing it. I think it's going to be one of the other big teams. So just kudos to the Golden Knights for continuing to do an amazing job. Not that Nashville's not doing a good job. Rascal Flatts singing the anthem. That's their thing down there in Nashville. They get all the big country stars to come in and sing the anthem. So I think they'll continue that. But Vegas is just proving to be an unbelievably great NHL market. I mean, they really are doing a phenomenal, phenomenal job. Speaking of Nashville, did you see Philip Forsberg's goal last night? Oh, my God. Check it out in the highlights if you can Google it. Forsberg's goal was amazing. Forsberg's goal and Panarin's goal to win it in overtime was just ridiculously good. Great goals last night. I'll tell you what. I mean, can you complain about the action in the playoffs so far? First games are done for every single series, and they've all been downright amazing. Really, really super entertaining and just enjoyable to watch. Even though, like, my team's not in it, just from a hockey standpoint, just tons of fun to watch. Really, really good. Tampa beats the Devils as expected. I really don't think the Devils have a shot in this 4 or 5 games. They'll give it their all. They'll grab a couple of games here. It's just that the Tampa's so good. Tampa let him in back in the game a little bit, too. I think it was 3-0 and then 3-2. But 5-2 victors. Tampa's going to make it easy. Now, Boston, a 5-1 win over Toronto. Told you Kadri made the dumb move. He'll be suspended. We'll have a little bit of a different lineup going into the game tonight, or I should say tomorrow, for the Leafs and the Bruins. I think the Leafs are still going to win the series, but I think it's good that they got little bit, because I think, I think Matthews needs to get angry. But more than Matthews, I think Marner and Nylander really need to show up in a big way. And what I find interesting, and I'm really hoping against hope, because I hate to question Mike Babcock, because I feel like he knows what he's doing, but the Leafs got pushed around in that game a little bit last night. Boston's big, Nash, Chara, they're big, and they're leaning on players, and the defense for Toronto is not good. We talked about how Boston is going to jam the front of the Toronto net and try and get bodies in the way and push around the defense for Toronto. I just think that Toronto needs to be a little bit tougher. And I say that, and they have Matt Martin just sitting there in the press box. Like, I don't know when it was exactly that Matt Martin pissed in Mike Babcock's cornflakes, but seriously, he's needed in this series. And I know it's like this big deal and Thomas Plekanec and all this, but I'm sorry. Give me Dominic Moore and give me Matt Martin any day of the week over Thomas Plekanec. I like Komarov. I like Kasperi Kapanen. I like Connor Brown. I mean, you know, with Kadri out, to me right now, Kadri goes out. I would pull Thomas Plekanec and I'd put Matty Martin in there and I'd put Dominic Moore in there because they just need a little bit more toughness. They're too small. Marner, Nylander, they're just too small right now. They're just too small. They just need a little bit more grit and sandpaper. And you've got one of the best in the game, and he's been sitting in your press box for the longest time. I don't get it. I hope that Babcock makes the adjustments. I know Babcock gets his favorites and he goes with his guys, but honestly, to me, get Matty Martin in there. Let him get under the skin of the Boston Bruins the way Brad Marchand is trying to get under the skin of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's see here. Sorry, your Isles are in a long rebuild. I think the Islanders are going to set a record for rebuilds. We are actually rebuilding the rebuild. The original rebuild, we're rebuilding that rebuild. So we're in a rebuild right now for the New York Islanders. Rumor has it Buffalo is going to make a huge Tavares offer. I don't know what rumors those would be, John, but I think I said that on the show. It just makes sense. I think we live in I would love to know where you got that from. I'm not pounding on you, bro. I love it. But it just makes a lot of sense. I think I talked about O'Reilly not making it. Give me Eichel and Tavares any day of the week in Buffalo. That makes a lot of sense. Buffalo has the deep pockets to go for it. They have a little bit of the cap space. They need strength down the middle. O'Reilly, you can trade him for something else that you need, and that's where I would go if I were Buffalo. I don't know where some of these rumors come from, but some of them just kind of make a lot of sense, and then people go, oh, I think we're hearing this. Well, of course, I got news for you. Here's a rumor that you can start spreading around the internet. 18 teams will make Tavares a huge offer because that's exactly what's going to happen. Every team is going to make a run at Tavares, every single one of them. Teams that have $4 million in cap space is going to call up Tavares' agent and say, what's he looking for? It's just going to happen that way because every one of them is going to think, well, will he come here for a discount? Look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't even have their numbers in front of me, but you better believe, let me get cap friendly up. You better believe that the Tampa Bay Lightning, with their limited cap space, is going to make a phone call to John Tavares' agent, and they're going to ask him what he wants and would he consider coming there. And I think Tampa Bay's got like $100,000 in cap space. Right now, Tampa has $744,000 in cap space. Chris Kunitz is a UFA. He's got $2 million on the books. JT Miller, don't know if they resign him. He's taking up 2.7. So let's say they let both of those guys go. That's $4 million. I guarantee you, as I sit here today, I'll give you one of my children if I'm wrong, that Steve Yzerman is going to call up John Tavares' agent and say, we'll give you $4 million if you come here. We'll slot you right behind Steven Stamkos. It'll be really nice. We hear you guys are pals. You can't wear 91, but you could wear 90 or 92 if you'd like. Or you could wear 19. We'll allow it. That's what's going to happen. Every team is going to make John Tavares an offer. And depending on what it's going to be is really it. And it's not going to be money, though. It's not. Because I wouldn't be surprised if Tavares goes to... Here's the thing. Not that I wouldn't be surprised. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Tavares goes to Tampa for 1 year at $4 million. It's just not. It's not out of the realm of possibility that he goes to Team X for $11 million. It's just not. It's whatever the guy wants to do. He's the best player in the game. I should say he's the best player in free agency this year in the game. And he's going to have his say. He's going to be able to write his check. And that's Tavares. What else do we want to talk about? I think that's really, there's not a ton to get into. Caps and Columbus. Caps just took their foot off the pedal. That's it. 2-0 lead. You got to close that out. Columbus came back 2-1, then 2-2. Caps rise above 3 deuce, and they wind up giving up 2 more. If you're Washington, I think this is great because I hope it burns a fire under Ovechkin and everybody else's ass over there to get it going. Stop fooling around. This Columbus team is amazing. They're very skilled, and they're very difficult to play against, and you better bring your A game. Nashville, Colorado, as expected. Forsberg was ridiculous. Nashville won. No surprises there. And San Jose, let's talk about, environment and everything else. Evander Kane, 2 goals. Sharks win 3-0. As expected. I think they're going to make quick moves on Anaheim. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a sweep, but I think it'll go more closer to 6 games. Johnny, possibly Tavares resigns with Isles, maybe pulls a LeBron opt-out after 3 years. If I were him, I would do that. I think the chances of Tavares resigning with the Islanders are good. I just do. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I really don't. Look, it's not encouraging. The general manager is inept. He's clearly, not that he's inept, he's clearly at the end of his rope. Doug Waite was not a great first-year coach, let's be honest. So there's 2 strikes against you. But Matthew Barzal, 40 goals from Anders Lee. He loves Josh Bailey. Ryan Pulock had a 10 goals, hell of a season for him. He's coming up. He's got this year under his belt. There's something there. I mean, they're a great defenseman away, and they need goaltending. That's it. I don't know where that goaltending is going to come from, but if I were Garth Snow, I'd whip a couple of them draft picks around and get myself a damn good goaltender for this season. Who that is, I could not tell you right now. I got to study the goaltender market. Who's going to be available via trade, who's going to be available via free agency. We'll get to that once the playoffs calm down a little bit. Once there's less teams in it, we'll start to go over free agents and rumors and things of that nature on the Hockey Talk show here. But for now, that's what Garth Snow needs to do. And if he can do it, then great. Look, the draft is going to happen before Tavares makes his decision, okay? So you got a great, it's not a last-ditch effort. You have a great opportunity to change his mind or help convince him to stay before July 1 comes around. You have that opportunity. Aaron, no, Tavares goes to Pittsburgh. We have no cap space. Yeah. John, we can't pay you this year, but maybe in 4 years we can get you a couple mil if you just hold on. Sign now for the minimum, and then we'll duke you on the end. We'll duke you on the other side. That'll be the thing. That will be the thing. Let's talk about the man of the day today. Deserves a lot of praise, far more than we're going to be able to give him. But Kenny Hitchcock. That's what I'm talking about. The Hitcher. One of the great coaches in the game. Just an unbelievably good career. Sad to see him go. Great NHL mind. Thought he would have better success in Dallas this season. It obviously didn't go his way. I thought this was going to be his last year either way based on some of the comments he made at the end of last season. And he does. I just wish he would have been in the playoffs and had a little bit more success. His statement, quote, I have contemplated this since our last game and came to the conclusion that now is the right time to step away and let the younger generation of coaches take over. 66 years old, said Ken Hitchcock in a letter to the Stars website. He remains with the Stars as a consultant, which is why he can't go to the Islanders or anywhere else. Stars general manager Jim Nils said about hiring a replacement, quote, I'm in no rush. I want to make sure we get the right guy. I want to make sure we're not leaving somebody out of the equation that deserves a chance to be heard. Meaning, one of these dumb playoff teams might fire their coach and I might want to hire them. Stars were 42-32 in Hitchcock's second stint with Dallas and failed to qualify for the playoffs. Nils said Hitchcock's contribution will pay off in the future. In the end, he said, quote, we both sat down and thought this was the best direction to go. The best part is he went out on his own terms. Hitchcock, by the way, third winningest coach in NHL history behind Scotty Bowman and Joel Quenneville. He's just in front of Al Arbor with, let me see here, in games coached, 1536, excuse me, just behind Al Arbor. Bowman has 21-41, 16-21 for Quinville. Arbor did 16-07, and Hitchcock 15-36. Overall in his career, 823, 506, and 119 with 88 ties in 22 seasons with the Stars, Flyers, Blue Jackets, and Blues. He won a cup with Dallas in 99, reached the cup final with Dallas in 2000. And did he make one more trip, or was that it? I think that was it. He was part of the coaching staff that led Canada to its Olympic gold medals in 2002, 2010, and 2014. So a hell of a career for Kenny Hitchcock. Any final questions? Anything you want to go over? Drop it in now, because we are wrapping up the Hockey Talk show for this Friday. Eddie with his predictions. Philly 0, Pittsburgh 0. 7 minutes remaining in the first. Oh, that's not a prediction. That's just an update. Okay. That was just an update. Yeah, we're a little late to the show tonight. Just a crazy week in Radio Land. 3 games on the slate tonight. Philly and Pittsburgh. It is knotted up at 0 apiece. I think Pittsburgh takes this game as well. I think Winnipeg takes the game tonight, and I think Vegas takes a 2-0 lead against the Kings without Drew Doughty in the mix. Eddie's predicting Philly 27, Pittsburgh 1. I'd reverse that, pal. No way Philly comes back. I think actually Philly's going to play a tighter game, a tougher game tonight, but I think they still lose to the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's a team on a mission. We'll have to wait and see. Congratulations to Ken Hitchcock on one hell of a career. More playoff recaps. Enjoy the games over the weekend. We got the 3 tonight. Tomorrow, we will not be here with you tomorrow. It is a Saturday. Colorado, Nashville at 3 o'clock. Got some afternoon hockey there. Tampa Lightning and Jersey also at 3. Boston and Toronto, the national game at 8 o'clock. San Jose, Anaheim at 10:30. And then we're back at it on Sunday, tax day for those of you here in the States, with 4 more games there. So enjoy all the hockey, everybody. Thanks so much for the comments, and I will see you guys